Staring at a once beautiful valley, now filled with bodies that serve only as a reminder of the morning's gruesome events, a lonely gravedigger thinks to himself. Unable to fight in the Civil War because he is black, he can only bury the soldiers that fight and die for his freedom. In the movie Glory, this gravedigger is played by Morgan Freeman, and he is given his chance to fight as a member of the 54th Regiment of the Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. The Massachusetts 54th was the first black regiment of the Civil War. Led by Colonel Robert Gould Shaw, the 54th showed remarkable bravery, patriotism, and sacrifice. Even though the North was opposed to slavery, many Northerners held on to anti-black attitudes. Because of these attitudes, the 54th was given dangerous assignments and equipped with substandard or even broken equipment. Wearing shoes no better than wrapped cloth, tattered uniforms that did little or nothing to ward off the cold, and using guns that would misfire every other shot, the 54th still proved to be one of the bravest regiments in the Civil War. On top of their bravery, the members of the Massachusetts 54th exhibited the highest levels of patriotism. Despite the racism and other struggles they faced, they were proud to wear their uniforms and to carry the Union flag into battle. Their patriotism can best be seen when one observes the number of deserters from this regiment. None. Despite the thousands of desertions suffered by many other regiments on the northern side, not a single soldier deserted from the Massachusetts 54th. I have spoken so far of bravery and of patriotism, but it is the sacrifice of the 54th that has etched them into the pages of history. The sacrifice occurred during the assault on Fort Wagner in 1863. This heavily guarded Confederate fort lay on the beaches of South Carolina, nearly unapproachable. A frontal assault was needed to weaken the fort enough to allow for a full-scale attack. It was a suicidal mission, but the 54th volunteered for it. They were the first regiment to storm Fort Wagner, and so would suffer the highest casualties. Rushing forward, they reached the fort well before any reinforcements that were supposed to back them up. Believing the reinforcements to be close behind, the 54th attacked Fort Wagner and found nothing but the enemy. When the charge was over, more than 250 soldiers from the regiment had been killed, wounded, or captured. To join an army who didn't believe in you, to fight with an army who didn't like you, to die for an army who didn't respect you. This was the Massachusetts 54th. Today, they lay where they died, on the beaches of South Carolina. Colonel Shaw and his men were piled together in a mass grave, which has since been covered by the shifting tides of the Atlantic. A small statue stands in Boston, a reminder of their sacrifice. Bravery, patriotism, and sacrifice. These are qualities of the Massachusetts 54th. With the help of their efforts, along with all of the other black regiments that followed, slavery did eventually come to an end. In the movie Glory, Morgan Freeman talks of his chance to fight for the freedom of his own people. The 54th grasped this chance. They fought for it, and they eventually died for it. In the words of Union General Truman Seymour, on every inch of the sands in front of Fort Wagner will be forever traced in undying glory the story of the determination and courage of the Massachusetts 54th.